Hello, my friends. Hello. Welcome to another live stream with Rachel and Carrie. I'm Rachel Archelaus. This is Carrie Roldan, and we're here today to talk about the last step of manifestation. And, if you're part of our intuitive art world, if you're a certified intuitive artist, then you'll know that we use our energy, we use our higher selves wisdom all the time to help us manifest, right? To see the map to the future. And if you haven't tried intuitive art, go to intuitiveart.com to learn that skill. We have a free 1-hour class that will teach it to you. And then if you want to be a master of it, learn all there is to it. There's so much more than in the free class. And if you want to do it with clients, teach it, become a certified intuitive artist, you'll see a link to that on intuitiveart.com. But one of the things that we don't talk about enough is the last step to manifesting. We can have the energy, we can have the map, we can have the information, we can be clear on what to do. But if we don't take the last step of following through with the advice that our higher self is giving us, if we don't step into the world with that vibration, it's probably not going to show up. Now, yes, some things will show up just by a shift in energy. That's true. But most things, because we chose to be here as human beings in a physical world, will require action. It will. If I want an iced tea, 9 times out of 10, I have to make it myself or go to the store and buy it. My partner, someone's not just going to randomly come to my house and drop off iced tea for me. Maybe 1 in 10 times, maybe 1 in 100 times, really. 1 in 1,000.
It's so fun when they do, though, right?
It's so amazing. I love
have that. Like, I really wish I had an iced tea, and then your neighbor knocks on the door and is like, "Hey, I made iced tea."
Yeah, it could totally happen, right? But because we chose to be humans, we wanted to interact. We wanted to be part of this world, and so that last step is what we're going to focus on today.
So, hey, everybody. First, I want to go back all the way to when Rachel was talking about the intuitive art class. If you haven't taken that, just our free intuitive art class, it is so good. It gives you so much information. I really took intuitive art a long way with that free class. Like, I used intuitive art a lot with that free class, like so much before I dove deeper into becoming a certified intuitive artist. It made me eventually want to dive deeper, but I just wanted to say that, like, that free class is so good. It's so good. It shouldn't be free. It's a really good class. So if you haven't yet taken it, take it. Hey, Jane and Katerina and whoever else is here live. If you're here, say hello and welcome. And Rachel, I feel like we need to talk about the steps of manifestation, like what they are. And it's not that I don't hear you. It's not that I don't hear you. I do. It's when to know what is now, like, do I take this step now? Right? Rachel and I were just talking before this about, I don't want to be in push energy, right? And so, like, trying to make something happen that's not the same thing as taking the next step, right? So can you, like, talk to us about the steps of manifestation and what we're talking about here?
Yeah. So, Abraham has their own steps, and I love those and use those. I think of it a little bit more simplified. You have an intention. Just by being alive, you are creating because you're noticing all kinds of things, right? So you're noticing what you like and what you don't like, and your higher self is rearranging its environment to live in perfect harmony with your desires, right? Abraham calls that your vortex. That's happening all the time, every day. That's why your dreams feel so good to you, right? Your dream desires, your dream life, it feels so good because it's your truth. It's your truth. Your higher self is living that right now. So that creation, done. Energetically, anyway, right? And so the next step is you feeling that good all the time, or feeling that good long enough for it to physically manifest, right? And so if you're feeling a match to your desires, that's step 2. You're feeling it. You are embodying the vibration of your desires. And that embodiment creates a magnet in you. And it draws everything to you. It draws the resources, the people, sometimes the iced tea magically appearing, right, is drawing that to you. Or it's giving you an action step that will facilitate the next step, right? Because we're here to enjoy action. It's not a punishment if you have to act, right? The act of writing, the act of, meeting someone new, the act of falling in love, the act of going into nature, right? Like we act out of enjoyment. And so you might get, or go to the supermarket now, or avoid this traffic now, or, pick up this penny now, right? It could be anything, but hearing your higher self is a manifestation, just like the resources coming to you from out of nowhere, right? The action step is part of it. And then sometimes there's that next step of, okay, I'm following through. I'm letting my higher self animate me to the next step. And I really feel like that is what is happening. Like when you're in the flow state, you're not thinking before you act. You're just acting. You're in the moment doing the thing. When you ski, you can really feel that. When you're swimming, doing something you love, writing, acting, talking with a friend, you're just channeling all this stuff for them, right? So you're embodying your higher self in that moment and allowing them to animate you and move you, and it feels so good. That is where we can get in our heads. So because that is a non-thinking thing, a non-thinking task, we often, I'm not that kind of person. I can't do that. That's not for me. I mean, I'm doing this right now with something that Carrie and I are working on, and Intimate Alien is assuring me that it's okay, but I'm doing that right now. We all do it. We all have limiting beliefs that can get in the way of that action step. And that is why we're here today.
So I am thinking of how many times I get an action step. Like I feel like it would be a good idea to do this today, or I would like to, whatever. And then I tell myself a story about why I can't, or why I should do it later, or what, right? Like I'm not the kind of person that does that, or whatever. Is that what I'm yawning? So obviously, yes. Is that me?
Yes. Yes. And one of the examples that I like to call upon is, I'm not going to name who this YouTuber is because I find them really obnoxious at the moment, but there is a very, very, very popular YouTuber who for years knew they wanted to make videos on personal finance, and but was sure they needed someone else. Like they even put this out there on Reddit, like, I'm seeking a host that, like, I'll write the videos, but like somebody else needs to deliver them, because he just didn't think he had the personality for it. And then after many, many, many years of it not going anywhere, it not working out, right? Do you see this right now? His limiting beliefs, even if he had like a thought of like how it could be accomplished, it wasn't working out because he wasn't in his truth. But then he decided, all right, fine, I'll do it myself. Pretty low quality videos using his phone. And I don't know, like the 10th one, it was a terrible quality video, like horrible. Fucking blew up. And it took him, I don't know, maybe 2 years to start making over $100,000 a month. And now he makes like $300,000 a month just from AdSense. That's not including sponsorships and affiliate money and all that. He probably makes $1 million a month or more. And it's because he finally took the step that his higher self was guiding him to, even though he thought there was no way in the world that he was that kind of person, or that anyone would watch him, or that it could ever possibly work out. So I'm talking myself into doing something that I've been avoiding right now too, but like, that's what we're talking about. And Katerina, yeah, push energy is different. Push energy is depleting. It's exhausting. But when you finally surrender to your higher self and let them come into you and give you the energy to do it, then it can just take off. And this is not to say that you're doing anything wrong if you're avoiding things, right? Like, so my situation right now is Carrie and I have sort of something we're working on, and I've had, stops and starts with it. But in the meantime, I am letting my higher self move mountains for me in other areas where I was really stuck. So, like, you're always moving ahead, everybody. Don't feel bad about anything, okay? You're always moving ahead. It's just which one's going to hit first, right? Like, what are you going to allow while you're resisting something else? We're always going to be resisting something. That's just the nature of being human. But we can live our fullest in the meantime. And then it makes it easier to open that other thing up.
Which, this is funny because, and I keep yawning, you guys, this yawning is what I do. But I'm thinking about, Rachel, your current situation, and how you just hit it on the head. Like, some projects that you had put down because you really, really wanted something to happen, but it like wasn't happening, right? You didn't give up on them, but you were like, I can't even look at you right now. You picked up some other projects that you want equally, until you got to the place with those where it was like, ugh, I need to avoid you right now. And so while you're avoiding the thing that you currently want, the thing that you forgot you wanted, suddenly you're like inspired and passionate about. And that is, and yet you're taking action. And I think maybe that's the distinction, is that when it starts to feel like push energy, when you're starting to feel like, I really want this thing so much that I'm trying to make it happen, you put it down and kind of say, higher self, what the heck do I do? And higher self's like, hey, pick up that thing you put down before. It'll be fun again. And so you are still taking action. I love it. Thank you. I don't know if that helped anybody else, but it really helped me. So thank you. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's a silly thing for me, but I think it's a good one. You all know I really would love to win the lottery. Like, it's on my to-do list. And I haven't bought a ticket in a really long time. So, guys, how am I going to win the lottery if I don't buy the ticket? I mean, someone could gift me a ticket, right? Like, we know the truth is, if I line up with it, there's nothing that can stop it. But I can't tell you how many days I've been like, ooh, buy a ticket today. And then been like, oh, I don't have cash, or I don't, like, just whatever. But it's a reminder, like, hey, Carrie, chances are, if you want to win the lottery, buying a ticket's probably a good thing to do.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about something else that requires action. Let's talk about the election. Now, it's probably no surprise whatsoever, seeing that I am a queer neurodivergent female, that I am excited to vote for a woman of color for freaking president. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited. But I am a voter. I vote in our primaries. I vote in our general elections. I vote in our midterm elections. Like, I feel like that is another step of being human that I can participate in. And I know the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm excited about it. I mean, I think it's so rad that we get this opportunity. And look at how it happened too. She wasn't going to get nominated from the Democratic National Convention. It was never going to happen. But Biden stepped aside and nominated her for us, right? He endorsed her. And I just feel like that is manifestation. That is path of least resistance right there. And what we can do now is cast a ballot for her, right? We can close the loop on letting this happen, letting this beautiful, kind, and loving thing happen. And what I love so much as well is like, I'm not against things, or at least I try not to be that pushing energy, right? That Katerine is talking about. It doesn't get us anywhere. You know, I don't hate anyone. I'm not against anyone, but I have preferences. I would love to see a more kind and loving and accepting and, you know, beautiful world. And of course, there's not going to be a utopia, but I can see that happening more so with Kamala Harris as president, right? Rather than the alternative. The economy is doing great. Like, everything's great. So I'd love to keep that going. And so that is how I can show my preference as well. And I don't need to be against anything. I don't need to be a jerk, but I can see what my truth is and how I can line up with it. And so I just really want to urge all of you to like, see if that feels right for you, and closing the loop on this election by voting for someone that you believe in, and making that action step toward a future that we've probably not considered enough. What is it going to be like when we have our first female president? To be honest, like, I'm always probably going to vote Democrat or independent, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Hillary Clinton. Not the hugest fan. I would have voted for, I mean, I did, but like, I'm more excited right now for Kamala. I'm like really excited to vote for her. So I hope you are too.
Well, so this brings up something that happened the other day with me, and it was a manifestation, right? It was the next step in a manifestation, but and Rachel knows about this, but I have a friend who I love. I really love her. I respect her. She is intelligent and wise and open-hearted and open-minded, and like, and I was surprised to find out that her political views were different than mine. And, you know, so much of our, like, I was so surprised because of the way that I see her and conversations that we've had about other things. I just was like, whoa, how could someone who thinks this way also be aligned with that? And the reason I'm saying all of this is not to, I mean, Rachel and I are not, we're not hiding the fact that we're going to vote for Kamala. And I will talk about the importance of taking that step, right? That's what we're talking about. Is it's one thing to like feel inspired on the inside and know, and get excited about it, but taking that step, like it's like, I don't know, putting your stamp of approval on it. It's taking that action to where the universe says like, okay, you're serious about this. But I took action in that normally I would avoid that conversation. I would avoid like, oh, wow, I really want to preserve this friendship or this relationship, or I don't want to not like you. So I think we just need to not talk about this. But both myself and this other friend leaned in. Now, we leaned in a way that was curious and respectful. And we have a foundation of a relationship where like we already respect each other. But I asked really hard questions and I told my unfiltered truth. When I did it, like I was like, I don't know how anyone could hear what I just said and not think something different. But the truth was that it didn't change her mind at all. I don't think. I mean, it was actually a 3-person conversation, and the other person said, "Oh, wow, I've never thought about those things before. You brought up some things I'd never considered." So maybe that was the point of the conversation, right? But I took action, right? I didn't filter myself. Um, I took action. I stayed in integrity. I stayed in my truth. Um, and what came out of it, no like change in, I don't think, in the way she's going to vote yet. Maybe the conversation will continue, but it did do something inside of me, right? Like speaking my truth and not avoiding, it did do something amazing inside of me. And I feel more aligned and more convicted. And it feels really, really good. So, and no argument happened. No, you're stupid for thinking that happened. So I don't know. I guess I just wanted to say that this isn't like, I know we're talking about manifestation. But like there's a big manifestation that I don't know if all women want. But yeah, I've been excited about the idea of a woman president since I remember, who was it that ran when we were very little? Maybe you're too little to remember. I think she was a vice presidential person, Elizabeth Dole. Did she run or was she just thinking about running? I remember her name like in the mix. And I remember as a little girl getting excited about it. And like I just found out that, well, not just, but like just recently Mexico elected a female. And like Mexico before us, like, are you kidding me? And it just like got, my asking became stronger. And like you're saying, the path was so unlikely. The path was so unlikely. And here we are. And so we have this, and I imagine there's so many women of color, right, who've been wanting, I know, because there's been this whole movement of representation matters, right? And now here we are. And so, yeah, I guess I'm saying if this is something that's on your internal wish list, vote. I'm looking what Katerina said.
Yeah. Let's see. She says, I would have to take some serious action to be able to vote this time around. I can't remember the last time I bothered. I have dual citizenship. So I'm assuming that means you'd have to like come to this country and register somewhere. I think you live in a different country. So that would take some serious action. Yes.
Ooh, but maybe we just inspired you to do it because maybe it's not that hard. Maybe I'm guessing you can vote by mail. You can probably register to vote online. Like it might not actually, and if you feel inspired to do so, but maybe you're here listening to this today because it's easier than you expect. And the actions are small and inspired.
Yeah. So what are we bringing up today? We're bringing up this piece of inviting your higher self into your body so that your life is more seamless and enjoyable and what you want, right? Like, why would I bother to vote for a president? Because they impact my daily life, right? The decisions they make impact my daily life. And so I am inspired to do something about that. So here's the question, right? Whether you're doing an intuitive art drawing or you're just thinking about your day or something comes up, that question, what am I inspired to do about this? That invites your higher self in. What am I inspired to do about this? It might not be linear. It might not be the, exact thing that you think it would be. It might be completely different, right? Because our higher self is going to bring us around our obstacles, around our resistance. And other than that, if you keep yourself in a clear, high vibe, if you challenge those limiting beliefs that come into your brain, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to not even have to ask that question, right? If you meditate daily and keep on top of yourself, you're probably just going to be animated to go and do and not think about it. But whether it's you have to ask the question or not, doesn't matter. The question's there for you, and it will really help enhance your time here on this planet. Because if you're doing what you're inspired to do, you're going to feel really good.
I like that question. Normally, I think you phrase it right now. What am I inspired to do right now? Or maybe we have another phrase.
You can use it that way. Mm-hmm.
But I like the what am I inspired to do about this? Maybe before the question, what am I inspired to do right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is like, what am I inspired to do about this? Speak my truth, write a book, change the world, do whatever. Right. And then what am I inspired to do right now? Take a nap, right? Like there. Mm-hmm. But I really like that question. I don't think I've been asking it very often. Maybe it's been happening on its own, but yeah, just thank you for asking it that way. It's helpful. Yeah.
I'm so glad. And it's so good to see everyone in the chat here today. Thank you for coming. If you would like to get a special video every Saturday that I make for you about behind the scenes stuff, how am I living my life? How am I accomplishing these things? And, living out my dreams, picking up projects I've had on the back burner for a while. Join the channel. You can join at the link below. It's like right next to my name. I think it says join. And when the Daily Alignment Show does come back, you'll be in the credits as well. But yeah, every Saturday, new video from me just for you. You are welcome, Katarina. And thank you, Jane and Jana. I just love seeing you here.
I do too. And I love that Jane's like, it's easier than you think to just get an absentee ballot. Like, let's just get going. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, Jane works elections, so she knows. There you go. Making it easy. See, ease is easy. Ease is easy.
Yay. And I think what I'm taking from today is we must act. Must might be a little bit of a stronger word, but in the context of voting, right? Be the change, right? We do need to vote, and we can make it easier than we think. But like we can't. At least I'm in California. Literally everyone gets an absentee ballot. Like it comes to me, and that is the thing, right? That's the thing that when we were having this conversation, I know we're just about out of time. We were having this conversation. I kept thinking how so many times Intimate Alien has told me, it comes to you, Carrie. Everything you want comes to you. But at the end of the day, even the neighbor who brings me the iced tea, I still have to bring it to my lips, right? Like there's still a little bit of action required on my part. And I think that's what I need to hear today. So hopefully it hit you guys in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, my teeth are moving themselves with this plastic aligner that I have on them, but I had to go to the consultation and sign up, like if you want to go, meditate in a cave in a mountain, that sounds awesome. Like go do that. Right. But most of us are more engaged in life than that. So it's okay. Like I know a lot of people are like afraid of action or think they're doing something wrong if they're acting. You're doing something wrong if you're acting before the alignment, before the intuition, and you're not doing anything wrong if you're doing that. You're just being a normal person. But if you want the ease, if you want the results that you want, if you want the feeling of being on purpose, then align and follow through. That's really what we're talking about, following through. Oh, I love that rainbow hearts. Thank you so much. All right. Now we're really going to go. We love you so much. We'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.